Hello viewers, welcome to Cosmo Reviews. In this video, we are reviewing the TV series Alias. Alias is an American action thriller and science fiction television series created by J.J. Abrams, which was broadcast on ABC. Alias consists of 5 seasons. The first season have total of 22 episodes, and the first episode was premiered on September 30th, 2001. In this video, we are going to review the first season of the series through the cast remaining largely similar throughout the series. Several new characters were brought into the final season. Throughout the series, regular characters were Sydney Bristow. She is a graduate student in English in Los Angeles. She is moonlight as an operative of SD6 and become a double agent for the real CIA. Jack Bristow is Sydney's father and also worked as a SD6, but he is actually a double agent for CIA. Michael Vaughn is Sydney's CIA handler. He, like Sydney, is skilled in variety of areas. His language ability shown in various episodes include French, Spanish, Italian, and others. Alvin Sloan was the head of SD6. He was married to Emily Sloan. Alvin never reveals to Emily that he is working for SD6. Marcus Dixon is a member of the Recon Marines. At SD6, Dixon is Sydney's partner on the missions. He was married to Diane Dixon and they have 2 children, Robin and Stephen. Marshall Frinkman worked as a tech support for SD6. Even though he is not field trained, he helped them through many difficult circumstances, either through extremely complex technicals, hackings, or by the creation of useful yet aesthetic device. Will Tipping is the reporter for the local newspaper, and he is one of the Sydney's 2 best friends. Francie Caffro is Sydney's other best friend. She is Sydney's roommate and a fellow graduate student. Before we get into the plot, as usual, this video contains spoilers for the series' major plot of the first season of Alias. If you haven't finished watching the series or prefer to avoid spoilers, it is recommended to watch with caution. Alright, let's begin.
My name is Sydney Bristow. 7 years ago, I was recruited by a secret branch of the CIA called SD6. I was sworn to secrecy, but I couldn't keep it from my fiancé. And when the head of SD6 found out, he had him killed. That's when I learned the truth. SD6 is not part of the CIA. I'd been working for the very people I thought I was fighting against. So I went to the only place that could help me take them down. Now I'm a double agent for the CIA, where my handler is a man named Michael Vaughn. Only one other person knows the truth about what I do. Another double agent inside SD6. Someone I hardly know. My father.
7 years before season 1, Sydney Bristow was a freshman in college student when she was approached by someone with US intelligence, and they wanted to interview her because she fit a profile. She declined at first, but then decided to join them. After meeting with an organization she believed was a Central Intelligence Agency, CIA for short, she signed dozens of non-disclosure agreements and was offered a job. They had Sydney take a job as an officer assistant on the 20th floor of Credit Delphine, a corporate bank in downtown Los Angeles. She assumed that the bank was somehow affiliated with CIA. Eventually, Sydney was told that she was ready for the transitions, which involved 8 months of training. It was during the trainings that Sydney first heard the term of SD6. At this time, she believed that SD6 was affiliated with CIA and it was a black ops division of the CIA founded by the CIA Black Budget. They led her to believe that SD6 was one of these divisions and that was why they did not operate through Langley, Virginia. The transition ended when they made a reference of SD6 headquarters. They told her they would take her there. What she did not realize was that the headquarters was in the same building. Her role within SD6 was that work at first, but she advanced quickly. Within first year, she was assigned to recognition missions. Sydney was told that the objective of SD6 was the retrieval of the study of intelligence, both military and industrial throughout the world, and it was critical to the superiority and survival of the United States of America. 7 years after joining SD6, Sydney met her fiancé, Danny Hatch, who she dated 2 years before season 1 and proposed to her. Against that, Sydney reveals her secret to her fiancé. She is a spy working for SD6. As a result of revealing SD6's existence to an outsider, Danny is murdered by SD6.
First, I took a cab.
Sydney raced to her headquarters to confront her superior Alvin Sloan. Then she was detained and questioned on her loyalty toward agency. After Danny was killed, Sydney hesitates to return to SD6 until an attempt is made on Sydney's life, only to be stopped by Jack Bristow.
Daddy?
Now!
This is the first time Sydney learns that her father is an operative of SD6. Jack reveals to Sydney that SD6 is not part of the CIA. SD6 was actually a branch of the Alliances of 12, an international organized crime group involved in trade of intelligence and weapons. It was an enemy of United States. After learning the truth, Sydney went to the real CIA headquarters, decided to offer her services, and she became a double agent to take down SD6. Her offer is soon accepted, and she begins to the long and endurance task to destroying SD6 from the inside. She quickly learns that her father is also a double agent for CIA. During the first season, Michael Vaughn is the CIA agent assigned to Sydney as her handler after she approaches the CIA about becoming a double agent within SD6. With Sydney's appearance on the scenes, Vaughn finds himself promoted from a desk job to become one of the most important players of CIA. The major plot lines throughout Alias series is the man named Milo Rambaldi. He was a 15th century philosopher whose work was often centuries ahead of its time. His device that relate to his prophecies were a key focus of the group of people determined to discover Rambaldi's in-game immorality. Alvin Sloan dedicated over 30 years of his life to discovering these prophecies and used the resources of SD6 organizations to follow the trail of Rambaldi designs and discover his device. Most of the SD6 6 missions related to retrieving devices or artifacts that created by Rambaldi. One of the Rambaldi prophecies is the central of the life of Sydney Bristow, written off the 47th page of one of the manuscripts. It predicts the coming of a woman who would bring forth Rambaldi words and render the greatest power unto utter desolations. The identity of this woman has been speculated to be Sydney Bristow.
So what does the prophecy say?
This woman here depicted will possess unseen marks, signs that she will be the one to bring forth my works, bind them with fury, a burning anger, unless prevented. At vulgar cost, this woman will render the greatest power unto utter desolation.
SD6 is not the only agency interested in finding Rambaldi artifacts and technology. K-Director, the criminal society that was an enemy of SD6, the CIA, the alliances of 12, and of the United States' main objective is finding all Rambaldi artifacts. In the first season, we are introduced to one of the most ruthless K-Director agent, Anna Espinosa.
Anna's in the vault.
The vault will be unlocked in 5 seconds.
What's wrong with the descrambler?
They're jamming your frequency. I'll try and find them.
Anna Espinosa was a cold-hearted assassin, the ruthless and persistent nemesis of Sydney Bristow. She was the go-to officer for K-Directors that operates that involve wet work or active measures. 1 year before season 1, Sydney met with a low-level informant in Yugoslavia, and Anna recorded the entire conversations with a microphone. As the informant left, she shot him in the head with a sniper rifle just to warn Sydney. The way she telling Sydney is that Anna was way out of her league.
I heard about your fiancé. Very sad. I thought perhaps it was a security execution sanctioned by your employers. Maybe you said something in your sleep you shouldn't have. But then why would you be here? In service of the men that killed your true love.
Another organization which involving in collecting Rambaldi artifacts is the criminal organizations headed by the figure known as the Man. Julian Salk is the agents operate under these organizations. We first met him as he leads a strike team against FTL headquarters and killed the head of FTL, Quan Li, in broad daylight just outside FTL front door. The attack coincided precisely with McKenna's unsuccessful assault on SD6 and was designed to retrieve an unknown Rambaldi artifact. SD6 learned of a scheduled meeting between with K-Director to discuss the sharing of Rambaldi technology. Sydney and Dixon were tasked to eavesdropping on the meeting. SOC offered to transfer $10 million to K-Director Cayman's Islands account in exchange of the Rambaldi manuscript, which include page 47. The officers were rejected and SOC assassinated Irene Evancourt, leader of K-Director. The new leader of K-Director, Ravel Keza, accepted the offer. Sydney, who was dangling outside the windows, was spotted and the firefight ensued. SOC slipped away. He was next seen in Tunisia trying to retrieve the Rambaldi manuscript, but Sydney goes to it first.
The agreement was clear. We meet and trade.
And we will. If you are who you say you are.
Sydney, is he asking you to fight him?
I've already instructed my guard to stand down. If you want the diamonds, you'll do the same.
No, Sydney, don't do this. Sydney. Sydney.
Stop fooling around. Stop fooling around. Stop fooling around. Stop fooling around.
Excellent.
Let's test the merchandise.
Let's.
SOC traveled to Denpasar to buy a second ampere of Rambaldi liquid in order to expose Rambaldi document. Unknown to him, the buy was a string operation set up by Sydney and Vaughn. It was disputed by Dixon and others SD6 agents. SOC tried to flee but was captured by Vaughn. When Vaughn abandoned SOC to rescue Sydney, SD6 recovered him. While in SD6 custody, he agreed to let SD6 to Casanau so they can recover the Rambaldi document. Sydney and Dixon were tasked to retrieve the documents and replace with a forgery. Vaughn instructed Sydney to switch out the documents with the counterfeit, but she unable because she spotted Will Tippin. SOC again escaped, but was captured by Slom. When SOC realized this, he had a full body transfusions in Geneva. One of the first season plotline, Sydney believed her mother Laura Bristol was dead after involved with a fatal car accident when Sydney was a child. Laura Bristol was an English lecturer in university. This inspired Sydney to take the course of English lecture in her study. One night, as Sydney reading book of her mother, she discovered there was a Cyrillic code at one of the pages from the book. It was the code from the Russian agency KGB. At first, Sydney believed her father Jack was KGB agents in the past 20 years and killed and caused the death of her mother. Vaughn met with Sydney and tell her that he investigated Cyrillic codes from her mother's book. The code were orders written by KGB and contained the name of the CIA agents who were killed many years ago. Vaughn and Sydney again discussed the Cyrillic codes, but both are convinced that Jack collaborated with KGB. Sydney is reluctant to move forward with the information, but Vaughn secretly recorded their conversations as evidence. Vaughn revealed to Sydney the secret codings of their previous conversations. He also explains that one of the murdered CIA agents was his own father. Sydney is understandably confused and upset. Sydney and Vaughn visit CIA Director Devin with the evidence about Jack, but they were stunned when Devin and Jack, along with 8 other senior officers, enter the room, and Jack reveals what most of them already knew, that he never was a KGB agent, but it was Sydney's mother.
I knew weeks ago that my file had been pulled and that you were suspicious of my activities 25 years ago regarding the KGB. When I learned that you had scheduled a meeting with Mr. Devlin regarding my history, I knew that it was time. Let me say in advance, I'm sorry to make this such a public display, but I felt it was important to do this in front of these people because they already know the truth. And because I didn't think that you would believe me otherwise. Those Cyrillic codes you found in those books, yes, they were orders from the KGB, and yes, they were orders to kill. An agent received those orders and carried them out. Murdered officers of the CIA, including your father, Mr. Vaughn. All this is true. But Sidney, I was not that agent. Your mother was.
Stranger under your spell. No time for secrets, no time to tell.
There's something that happens when you discover the truth about someone. I know a little about this.
Your seasons change, you survive.
The truth changes everything.
Wisdom winter.
There's this woman. A personality like a collage I've put together. From the photographs, the few memories I have, the scraps of stories I've heard, the clothes of hers I've got, her books. None of it's real. She wasn't that woman at all. She was a horrible person. Who killed your father. Vaughn, I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry.
I'll be brave. I'll die.
Sidney is stunned when she learns that her mother was a KGB agent. This news is too much for her to bear, and she tells Vaughn that she is going to resign from SD6. As Sidney enters SD6, Judd catches up and warns her that the Alliance, the man Sloan works for, will kill her if she tries to quit. During the same day, SD6 is compromised by a group leading by McKenna's Cole, the former SD6 agent. Cole and his group infiltrate SD6 valve to steal an ampule, one of the Rombaldi liquid used to make the text of page 47 and the circumference visible. Cole then flees SD6, only to be stopped when Vaughn and servers CIA agents. Cole is taken into custody and Vaughn thanks Sidney because she was the reason why they still have the Rombaldi artifact. Sidney returns to the office and asks Sloan if he is alright, which he replies no. She talks to her father and Judd asks her what she said to Sloan. She answers by saying that she will be back tomorrow in the morning. Judd smiles and leaves Sidney standing in the SD6 building. Due to the nature of work, Sidney hiding her triple identity from her friends Francie and Will, both in her personal life and in her SD6 job. Subplot includes Sidney's friendship with Francie, Francie's romance relationship with Charlie. On the other hand, Will Tippin are suspicious toward the death death of Danny. He then conducted an investigation into Danny's death, only to learn that on the days Danny's death, he and another woman named Kate Jones booked a flight to Singapore. Danny and Kate were the only two passengers who did not on board the flight. Before we go further on this plot, Kate Jones was an alias given by SD6 to Sydney Bristow during her missions. Jack Bristow using the name of Kate Jones to book flight ticket to leaving the US when Jack finds out that Danny's life has been compromised after he learns the existing of SD6. When Will Tipping investigate further toward Kate Jones in the relations of Danny's death, SD6 sent an agent named Alias Kurtz to portray Kate Jones to meet with Will. Will learns that the real Kate Jones' social security number before meetings. When Eloise confronts Will and told him that she is Kate Jones, Will tell her off. Eloise then was assassinated by SD6 for fear that Will would learn the truth about SD6 from her. Few days later, at work, Will sees a report that a young woman was found dead in park. He recognized the pictures as Eloise Kurt. Will investigations lead him to an audio tape with some muffled dialogue. In the tape, we could hear that the person who killed Eloise Kurt says the name SD6, revealing another piece of puzzle. This puzzle led Will to a man named David McNeil, who are in the prisons for embezzlements, and asked him about the name of SD6. Will investigations has attracted unwanted and potentially deadly attentions from SD6. Sloan tells Jack to silence Will. Jack insists that more evidence is needed before taking these drastic actions. A man wearing mask kidnapped Will and abandoned him in a warehouse and threatened Will to stop investigating SD6. The masked man turned out to be Jack, though Will has no idea that Sydney's father is actually trying to save his life. Few weeks passes by. Will receives a phone call from his sources, Deep Throat, and the mysterious caller urged him to resume the investigations of SD6. The voice also provides him with another crucial clue by telling him Jack Bristow was the man who kidnapped Will.
Yeah, these are rat droppings.
Well, kill him, please.
You got kids?
No.
Household pets? Dogs? Cats? Hello?
What? No, I don't have any pets.
Then I'd skip traps and go right to baiting.
This will be your only warning.
At last, Will confront Jack and explain that unknown sources give him the information. Jack denies any involvement, but immediately he pays a visit to CIA Director Delvin. He suspects Halakit may be a mole leaking the information to Will. Determined to find the mole, Jack agrees to help Will. He confessed that he gave the pin to Eloise Kurt, the pins that doubles as a surveillance device. Although he did not kill her, he tells Will that to use the device to inform the unknown sources that his SD6 investigations is back on. Jack is determined to find the identity of Deep Throat. He instructs Will to tell the mysterious source that he knows all about this circumference and that he wants a meeting. Will establish a meeting with Deep Throat. A location is set at Paris, and Jack will monitor the conversations using a hidden microphone in Will's jacket. In the Paris club, while Sydney is on her missions to track down Kazana, she spots Will with Deep Throat man being escorted through the nightclub at gunpoint. Sydney interrupts the interrogations, falls into actions, and overpowers the armed man.
So are you the person I've been talking to?
He will be along shortly. First, we have questions.
What's that, like sodium pentothal?
Yes, so that our conversation will go smoothly. Tell me, Mr. Tippin, how did you find out about the circumference?
I heard about it.
From who? A name, Mr. Tippin.
The name? Okay.
Will is alarmed. He has never seen Sydney like this, and they escape to Jack's car. Sydney is furious with her father for involving Will until Jack explained how this unknown informant has been trying to expose SD6 publicly. Will is moved to a CIA safe house. Vaughn says that he may need to enter witness protections program for safety or even be recruited. A team of SD6 agents tracks Sock to his locations, hoping to find Kazanov as well. Instead, they found a room with medical equipment using a blood transfusions to hide his trail. Sock is at CIA warehouse, and when Will opens the door, Sock fires at point-blank range. Will, tranquilized and badly beaten, is dragged into Dingley's storeroom, where Sock asks him about the circumference. With no answer, Sydney received a call from Sock, setting up the exchange of her friends for a Lombardi page that was stolen in Paris and the ampoule of solutions to take the place in Taipei in 24 hours. Jet agrees to help recover Will. He can easily get the ampoule from CIA storage, but recovering the page will be tricky. It is an off-site SD6 vault located off the coast of Santa Barbara, and they will need Sloan fingerprints and invoice in order to gain access. Jet suggests that they study the Lombardi page themselves and determines its value before negotiating further with Sock. He also tells Sydney that she must keep his plan from Vaughn. The CIA has a mole. Having now stolen the Lombardi page from the remote SD6 island vault, Sydney climbs out the water only to be confronted by Dixon. Sydney is pleading when she insists that she is not betraying her country, but also that she cannot reveal the truth to him. Dixon walks away. Meanwhile, after few hours of tortures, Will still hasn't revealed much about the circumference. When he is finally unchained, he plunges a syringe into the neck of his sadistic interrogator. Guard sees Will and drags him from a room. In an alleyway, Jack meets with Sock and exchanges the page for Will, who has been spared, bloody but alive. Sobbing, Will embraced the stony-faced man who has been handed him back his future. Across the town, Sydney and Vaughn find a Miller device behind lock and keys in Taiwanese dance club. It is in fact similar to the prototype she retrieved before, only much bigger. Sydney detonates the explosive, unleashed the tremendous flood, and she and Vaughn dash through the underground complex, trying to escape the approaching torrent. Sydney makes through the security door but cannot hold it open long enough for Vaughn. He is trapped on the wrong side in a room, feeling perilously fast with rushing water, and seconds later, Vaughn is gone. When Sydney turns, she is knocked out by a hard blow from a security guard. She awakes in a familiar scene. She is once again changed to a chair in the Taipei storeroom, but this time, instead of suit and glasses, her interrogate is Kazanov, who explains that his boss has questions for her. Puzzled Sydney admits she thought the man was one in charge, but Kazanov is not the man. The door opens. The man is a woman. It is Sydney's mother.
Wait. I have questions for you.
You can ask my boss.
Your boss. I thought the man was the boss.
Yes. Yes, but I'm not the man.
I have waited almost 30 years for this.
Mom?
Season Season 1 focuses on the development of Sydney characters and allowed the audience to become familiar with her. First season mainly explores Sydney's obligations to hide her true career from her friends and family as she assumed multiple aliases to carry out missions, as well as her effort to take down SD6 with the help of CIA. Alias was well received among critics, and it has been included in the several best of lists, including the American Films Institute Top 10 list of television program in 2003. The series also received numerous awards and nominations. Alias is considered to be the part of the wave of television series from the late 90s and early 2000s, and features a strong female character alongside with buffer vampire slayer, Xena, warriors princess, Laffy Nikita, and Dark Angel. This is the end of the review of Alias Season 1. Thank you all for watching this review. On the next video, I would like to review Alias Season 2, so stay tuned. If you like this video, please leave your comment, click on the like buttons, consider to subscribe to this channel so it will help this channel to grow. See you on the next video. Bye.